Hi, everybody. There's Mariah.
That's such a great picture.
They're up to 4 animals now, I think.
Oh, dang, really?
With 2 dogs and 2 cats. She found a stray cat.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But your cat's awesome, the one that you adopted.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know how he got so lucky, but we have 2 really cool cats, so I don't want to push my luck anymore.
I know, 4 animals is plenty.
A lot.
It is a lot. It is totally a lot. I feel like I struggle with 2. How do you do with what?
Keep going. Keep going.
I can't go any further. I can't suck it in anymore. Hi, Michael. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I don't think we've ever met Ashley in person. Everybody's met Michael, though, right?
Yeah.
Brad.
Nice to meet you, Kelly Lang team.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us on. See, Michael is like backup support with any like problems. He's like, I'll be there for you, right?
Yes, he needs a theme song.
We need to do a TikTok about that, Michael. Come on.
I know, right? I'm like the guardian angel in the background. Always.
You are, and actually, there is a beaming light, like right behind you. It's so true. I gotta get a picture of that. Yeah, right with the beaming light. I love it.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Fantastic.
Not working.
Good. Your team is growing.
Yes, it keeps growing. It's awesome. That's why we have to do these educational seminars. Make sure everybody's on the same board.
So smart.
That's good.
Yes.
So we
Okay.
get all your wisdom, Ashley, about paperless. And let me be able to make you able to screen share here too, if you need to.
Perfect. So I just click this and then
Yeah.
I click which screen.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you click on share screen, then it'll say what screen. So you can click on that one, and then just hit share.
For like a month.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. See you, everyone. Have a good time.
Sure to be a good time.
It'll sure to be a good time. Ashley's super entertaining, so you guys will have a great time.
Oh, I don't know. Thanks, Michael. All right. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So we're just,
Remax.
I've been with Remax about 4 years. Actually, just 4 years. I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary in December.
Congratulations, lady.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I've trained lots of admin on pipeline, but I haven't trained agents. Usually the agents come in and get onboarded by Michael, and he does just kind of a really brief overview of the pipeline. So we're going to do a quick overview of that again, and then probably dive into some other things like transaction sheets and how to do the breakdown of commissions and things like that. Does that sound good? Yay! And then you guys have questions on. Okay, so how many of you have met with Michael and gone over kind of just the brief overview of uploading? Everyone?
You already gone over the brief uploading with Michael?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So you know when you log in, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Let's see.
Mariah, your hair always looks so on point. Oh my gosh.
So jealous.
I'm so jealous too. I hate your
So
hair.
luscious.
I just
It
want
does
to
look great. I was looking at that too.
Even when it's a mess.
I know.
She's got that good hot, messy look going.
You guys know when you come in and log in, your screen looks like this. You know do you guys know how to upload to unassigned versus unreviewed?
No, let's
Show
do
us.
it. Let's do it.
Okay. So if you guys already have a file created, so if it was a listing or it's a pending that you're adding documents to, you guys, I'm trying to figure out what camera. Oh, there it is. Just let's see. It's just positioned kind of funky. You can actually upload. Much funkier. Sorry. Okay. We'll just do it like that. So you can upload to unreviewed by going to your file. I've got a test file here. You will search the address. And we've got this one here. If you click on that, each file is going to have its own email address. So if you click this address at the top of the file, do you guys see that screen? Yeah, okay, perfect. So this will send that document directly to whichever file you want. So as opposed to sending it to the unassigned, where sometimes we have 400 docs, it's all the office's documents, you can directly assign it to whichever address you're hoping to do, just by searching the address and clicking the email address at the top. So when it goes to the actual address of the file you're looking for, it will show up as an unreviewed document for us. So what that means is we'll see that it's there. We still have to go in and review it, rename it. We check for signatures in there, and then check it off. You guys can also utilize the checklist in there as well. So if you check off an item in there, it'll show up with a little check mark that you guys have reviewed it. We still have to go in and physically review it as well, just to double check things. So let's see.
So can we talk about it, like real life examples? So for example, when we take a listing that gets emailed to Gateway, right? And then Gateway uploads the listing file. Okay, so that's how it gets started. When you have a pending though, that then goes to Mariah. So let's say it's a house in, I don't know, Windermere has it or whatever. When it's a pending file, then it goes to Mariah and Mariah starts the paperless, correct?
Mariah cannot start a file in the pipeline.
So who starts that then?
That's going to be Darlene.
So the new
it was previously Vanessa, yeah. And then we all kind of step in if somebody is on vacation and whatnot too. So it'll be one of the admin, likely the Gateway admin.
I want to just make sure we're following the steps right. So then when we have a pending file, Mariah, are you sending it to Gateway then? Or is the new agent sending it to Gateway? What's been the protocol?
I send it to unassigned if it's my pending. Now, if it's one of the newer agents, it's their responsibility, the first 5, but I usually go to unassigned and I email the pending PSA, the transaction summary, and then any other documents that I already have on hand. So if I have the Form 17 signed, I send that. If I have the Form 40 already done, I send that. I usually send everything that I have in the moment, but sometimes when I open it, depending on what I get from the agent, it's usually just the pending PSA and then the transaction summary.
All right, just want to make sure everybody knows what to do once they have a pending file, where it needs to go until. Then once Mariah is getting it, then Mariah will handle it with Gateway. Okay, cool.
So, and the only way we can start a file is if you guys have submitted your transaction sheet along with your purchase and sale. All the other documents can trickle in, but those two are the 2 ones we have to have in order to start the file. So, and that's a great example for if you submit your transaction sheet and your purchase and sale, we've started the file for you, then the other docs that are trickling in, those can actually be assigned directly to that file by going and grabbing that, that email address that I had showed you where is located.
And what's the turnaround time typically for Gateway to get a file started with pending? I mean, it's usually the same day, isn't it?
It is usually the same day. Bear with Darlene as she learns because it will take a little longer to get through. You know, I always say within 72 hours, we try to get the documents processed. And so right now we've got 82 documents and unassigned, and let me see, just a handful and unreviewed. But a couple months ago we had over.
This just brings up a good point because I know stuff starts to trickle in right at the beginning of the pending. Like I just got well documents the other day. And so the big thing I want to make sure is that you guys, if they're coming directly to you and they're not copied with the TC, you need to make sure they get in there. When you're managing your own files for the first couple to learn what a TC does, you need to make sure you're putting them in here into the right folder. Because like well documents, any receipts and invoices, any inspection reports, anything that's pertinent to the document that if you ever had to go back and DOL was scrubbing the file or whatever, you need to make sure that it's in here along with all the emails at the very end when you're done. So I always say it's very, very good housekeeping right prior to closing to make sure all your files are uploaded complete in Paperless before you close it out, you guys, because you'll forget and you'll be on to the next transaction. And then you'll be like, oh crap, where's that piece that's in here? Because I mean, I get it a lot too. Like even afterwards, I'll get an email like, hey, what's this? And I'll be like, oh crap, where's the title? And then I get back into Paperless and try to find the documents that I need. So just remember, anything that you need to find for history purposes needs to be in here. And then I'm looking always to see if Mariah's been copied on that email. If she is not, like this yesterday, my client sent me the well docs, and I don't expect my clients to copy Mariah, but then I'm going through and I'm just hitting forward to Mariah, like, hey, you need this, go put it in Paperless, and then make sure it gets out to the pertinent parties that need the information.
Yeah, that's exactly the case too. You know, this is our processing system, but it's such a resource to you guys as well. I know a lot of people will keep their documents also on their desktop, but this is a great resource to you guys. You guys have access to all your documents in here, and it's really user friendly. So let's see here. So I did note some agent responsibilities, and we did touch on that briefly. And it's just to submit your documents in a timely manner, fully signed, ideally. A timely manner, I like to say within a week of pending, and sooner if you've got it. And then let's see here. Additional docs can trickle in. We talked about that. And then we really appreciate as admin if we're corresponding as we send you out the emails, if you respond, or if you know, sometimes we get to the close of the file and we don't have all the docs. And then we have to potentially hold the checks and hang on to those things until we can get the file completed.
And right? You're not getting paid.
Yeah. And so just the communication too, if you're like, hey, my client is held up right now because they can't get a hold of, you know, on the Form 17, sometimes those trickle in later. Form 89s as well can trickle in later sometimes, but just communicating with us and letting us know so that we can close up the file or at least add notes to be able to wrap that up. And then our responsibilities to you guys as well as the admin is, again, process in a timely manner. We do try to do within 24 or 72 hours. Over the summer, sometimes we've had as many as 500 docs in the pipeline. So it's times like that where things will be a little bit longer, but we try to communicate with you guys as well and just let you know, hey, things are going to be processed a little more slowly because of the quantity of pendings we've got going on, which is an awesome problem to have. Let's see here. So transaction sheets, are you guys familiar with those? How many of you have filled one out by now? Okay, perfect. I know you said you had a couple new agents, so I wasn't sure.
Well, you can go over it though. I think it's a good refresher for sure.
Okay, perfect. So let's see here. Common things that we see not checked off on the transaction sheets are the warranty information. Now, Kelly, you are not participating, is that correct? In the warranty program?
Yeah, I don't participate.
You don't? Okay. So just making sure you yeah, that's totally good. So just making sure that the boxes check that you're not participating or slashing through with a red line. I know you'd think we'd remember, but there's so many agents and stuff. It's just really helpful for us because then we're not asking you down the road. Making sure that we've got the sales price. I see that left off often, which is a funny one because that's how we figure out how much you're getting paid and stuff too. And then as far as commissions go, I know you guys often have a lot of breakdown. So I think we've discussed just doing the Form 40 and saying see Form 40 and then making sure that comes in attached with the transaction sheet as well. And doing the exact dollar amount per person is helpful as well. So in the past, I know we've done the percentage of the commission and then kind of did a partial breakdown and stuff, but I think if we just do the dollar amount, that's going to clean it up. Any questions on that? Okay. And then we also need our title and escrow information as well. So that's another one that I see left off often. So just making sure that we're really filling out the transaction sheet in full. Form 89s, for those of you who haven't dealt with that yet, kind of tracks where the earnest money has gone, whose hands it's exchanged. And that is a DOL requirement. So
have you been putting those in every file, the Form 89s? If not, that needs to be on our auto checklist because, yeah, you're exactly right. I remember Kitty would hound us about those 89s. Like, tracking the earnest money.
Yep.
That's a big one with the DOL.
It is, it is. And so what we need on the transaction sheet is if you can just explain to us how. So if a lot of times you don't need a Form 89, either it was wired in or the buyer delivered it directly to title. In that case, we won't need a Form 89. But if you can just note on the transaction sheet here that, buyer delivered directly to title, then we know right away. We don't have to bug you about it. We will just delete that from the checklist without another question.
So let's use an example. When do you need a Form 89, Ashley? In what circumstances?
So if the buyer gave the agent the earnest money and the agent delivered it to title, then we would want a Form 89 from that agent.
So I'm just going to say my office protocol, I really like the earnest money to go directly to title and escrow. I just cut yourself out of the deal, you guys, because if something happened to the check, I would be freaked out. So, they can bring it in here and then Chicago can courier it. That's fine. But in that circumstance, yes. If your client walks in the earnest money into this office and they give it to Elaine, you better have an 89 ready to go signed. So that way Mariah can get a copy of it. So it's in paperless.
And so if you do have title come there, Darlene should have the Form 89 already filled out, and title would sign it. She would submit it to the pipeline.
Our office, guys, sorry. So yeah, usually they come into our office. We have a separate office, Ashley. So I just want my admin to know that it needs to be done if they walk it in.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Yep. That is good. Yeah. So that's one of those ones that when we've got that note, then we know right away and we can just check it off the list.
Absolutely.
So would it be okay, like if we just printed out some blank ones and we could literally handwrite them out?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
here, let me just give protocol.
Thanks,
Jay gets a new pending. It's local. We're using Chicago title. Jay's gonna text into the office and say, hey, my client's gonna be in today between 10 and 1 to drop off earnest money. Please have a Form 89 ready. So that way the office knows there's a client coming in, who they are, can have the 89 prepped, right? So that's an ideal scenario, you guys. If you're giving instructions to our admin team, I would text it into the office cell phone and just make sure they have that Form 89 ready for you guys and your clients. So that way they're not surprised when they walk in, like, oh, what are we
that has
supposed to do?
happened before in the past where we're like, who are you?
Yeah,
And we don't like to, we
Let
don't
them know.
like
It's just good communication. And then I think the other thing too is then they can give Chicago a heads up. So if you're using Chicago, then they'll email Chicago and say, hey, we need your courier today because we need to make sure that it gets in within the time limit from the purchase and sale agreement.
Yep. Perfect. So we've kind of discussed commission breakdown. That was a huge one on the transaction sheet. Form 89s and those requirements. You guys know how to upload things. We discussed uploading directly to the file and how that's helpful. Do you guys have any questions overall? Is there anything?
Show them how to make a note too.
Okay.
And then maybe you can show them, you guys all know how to download all your emails from the transaction into Paperless. Does anybody know? Okay. So notes and how to download all emails pertinent to the file would be amazing.
Okay, I'm not sure I know how to download emails pertinent to the file.
Mariah does!
Mariah does?
Elaine!
And you taught them.
Don't and Kelly is the badass Punali here that taught everybody.
Well, you can teach me, Kelly. So to add a note to the file, that's also a really handy tool. You can see here, we've got note/email. So if you select that, you can send a note to anybody on the file or pertaining to the file or the admin. If you are doing an email, you're going to want to select who it's going to. So most of the time, it'll probably be to your admin, maybe to each other internally. You can send, you probably don't have templates, but you can create templates as well. So then you'll just add the subject line and whatever you want to email, and it will show up at the bottom of this and give us an alert that there is a note from you guys. So if you had comments later about the Form 89s that were originally on the transaction sheet, you could let us know here. And this would be email. If you wanted to just do a note, you would not select who it goes to. You would just add the context and then push send, and it would just show up in the same way as a note in the file.
So
This is super handy.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
to me, notes are important. Like if you want to document who the appraisal is, who the appraiser is, their phone number, when they went out, that would be great to put in there. If you get a copy of the appraisal, I'd download the copy of the appraisal into here because some of your clients will come back down the road and ask you for a copy of that appraisal. The other thing too is like if I get a tricky one, like oh there was an easement recorded, or no there wasn't supposed to be an easement recorded, or hey I did my final walkthrough on this date. This is a good place to put that, you guys, because then if your client ever came back to you and was like, oh no, we didn't do a final walkthrough, or I wasn't there. Let's say you're doing it on their behalf and you're FaceTiming them. I put a note in there. I did my final walkthrough on such and such a date, so you've got record of it. And if there was a problem with the final walkthrough, I'd make notes on that too. Just some of the stuff that you won't remember over the years, like did I do that? Did I not do that? Just some good housekeeping, I'd say.
I think that's great. I don't see agents utilize pipeline as much as they should. And I think that's a great point, Kelly, is there's spots to put notes and just really keep organized. We use the notes section as admin all the time. Anytime we get a comment from you or anytime we hear, hey, that's going to be in late or things like that, we note that file, and it's so easy to just jump in and have all of those handy for us. So I think that's a great tip to just utilize those options for you guys.
Sticky that you think could come back to haunt you. That's what I mean, that's what I use the notes for, right? It's just like, I just had one the other day where it was like easement was going to get recorded. It didn't get recorded. It was documented in the Northwest MLS. I knew I could be getting in trouble for this. So then we did addendums and stuff, that kind of stuff that I won't remember in a year. Oh, absolutely. Like, hey, and then I sent an email after I talked to the other agents on both sides. I sent an email, hey, I just wanted to recap the conversation we had. So that way it would then go get downloaded as an email into Paperless Pipeline. So I just like cover CYA, cover your ass, you guys, just do it. Make an email, and then the email will get into Paperless too. And then you can trace through and go, oh yeah, that's what I did, and that's in this file.
Perfect. What other questions do you have? What else do you guys want to know?
Who wants to do showing how to download emails? Kelly, would you like to do
I would
that?
love to see that too.
Do you want to go do it? Here, there you go. There you go. Do
Wait,
it.
while she's doing that, Ashley,
Yeah.
I have a question. Is there a way, because this bothers me, and is there a way that after you upload something into Paperless that you can go back and like change the, what is it? Like the initial, what you name the document, if that makes sense?
I can.
You can? Okay.
I can, yes. Yeah. I don't know if you have access to edit it. I kind of don't think you do.
Darn it. Okay.
We always go in and rename everything anyway, because we just have a format for that.
Okay.
If there's something, an extra comment or something you want on it, you can always just shoot us an email and say, hey, can you make note of that? Once it's uploaded in the queue, it's there.
It's there. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Because when I first started, I didn't organize things the way that I wanted to, and now I've gotten better. And it bothers me that some of those other ones aren't organized
Right.
the way that I wanted. And so
Yep.
I've been trying to figure out how to go back, but that would make sense that I can do that. Okay.
Yeah, but if you give me the file addresses, we can go up and do some cleanup for you. If you tell me, kind of how you want. Yeah, no, we're happy to do that.
I would like that. Yeah, thank you.
Shoot me an email and let me know which addresses, and we can go over that together for sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So she's sharing her screen, so.
You just go down and share our screen. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I want to get into your email again.
So you can just do screen.
Yeah, right
So it's
there.
the whole screen.
And then share.
Okay, but I'm gonna need.
Do you need me to close mine?
No, you
Well, I'm
just-
gonna need to get into.
Just
your
minimize the
Paperless, too.
Zoom. Minimize the Zoom.
Where?
No, yeah, just close it out. Yeah, click X. Very top right. There you go. Yep. Won't shut us down. Now you can get into other Google. Go down to the Google or the little Google thing. Yeah.
Which one now?
Let's do that one. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to get into your Paperless first. No, I need to move these people.
Minimize button on the
Yeah.
left
Okay,
side.
where's my little thing?
Just go to the minimize where it shrinks your screen down up there where the X and the minimize is. The little two boxes. There you go. Here. Blind lady, the blind.
Yeah, it's still right where I.
You can drag it. Just
drag
drag
it.
it. Click on
Drag
it. Yeah, there you go.
There, log in. All right, give me a.
Just go to Walker and just use it as example right there.
Well, Walker is that. Okay.
You can just put one in there and we'll delete
Well,
it.
I don't
you know?
have probably a lot of those in yours.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just use it as example. Just put one email in Walker, and then we'll remove it.
Just know that we can't see what you're doing.
Okay, so you need to share this.
Like me and Ashley can't see what you're doing right now.
It says you're screen sharing.
Go back up to share.
Click new share.
Right, Ashley, can you see?
I can't see now.
Yeah.
You
When
have to
exit it
stop.
out of that, and click that click screen.
And then just hit share down at the bottom right. No.
This is the one I'm on though. Right here.
Okay, that's perfect. Can you see it
Now
now?
can you see it?
No. Ashley might need to stop sharing her screen so that you can share, because we only see Ashley's screen right now.
Stop share right now. Let's start over. Can you see that?
Oh, we're seeing Ashley's screen.
Yeah.
No, we can only see Ashley's screen.
Crap. Now where was I?
Where's Ashley?
Can you still see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Do view options maybe?
Well, Ashley has to stop it on her side.
Yeah.
You can't.
Ashley, you know how to
'cause you're
stop the
viewing
screen
Ashley's
share?
Screen.
You can go down to the bottom where it's share on the green.
Not participant. Yeah.
Let's see.
There we
Okay.
go.
We got it.
Oh, there we go.
Now go back down to share.
Now, Kelly, you might be able to do it.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Right, there we go.
You would go into the your transaction in Paperless Pipeline, and this is that email that she was talking about that is only to this particular transaction. And you hit copy email, and then I'm going to need to go in and get into your Google.
Person one.
Should be.
Yep, person one. Okay.
And then
You
click
can
on
use
her face
any. We'll just delete it.
and change it to team.
That should be her.
Just take the
No,
bo-
Just
it's
throw
not.
something in
yeah,
there.
take the boomerang
It's
team
not?
and just use that.
Right
Put it
there.
in there.
There you go.
It doesn't matter. Just pick anything. Take the Reese Evans mortgage
No,
rates.
hold on.
We can only see 823 Walker Avenue and Paperless Pipeline. We're not seeing anything else you're doing.
Because you need to do screen, you
You're-
just click
you're only
on
sharing
the
that- you're only
paperless
sharing that
pipeline.
window.
And do screen.
Just
Screen.
screen.
At the top left. There you
Right
go. And then share.
Okay.
Now can you see?
Good? Can you see that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just take this one. Am I going to move this now? Hold on. Okay, and then let me see if I can remember how to do this.
Don't take that auto email. That auto email makes me so mad.
I won't.
The one underneath it.
Right, I saw that. That's why I did not pick it. Okay, so you just you click on this, right, or even this. We'll click on both of these, let's say, and then you go to these three dots. You forward as an attachment, and then you just paste in that URL that you had. Did it grab that? Where's my paste? There it is. And then you can just put in 823 Walker or 823 Walker, and then there's the attachments, and you just send it. It's that simple.
Easy. That's so easy.
I've been doing it a different way. That is not that easy.
Oh.
So you took the course.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Remember yelling at you?
Good
Good
job.
job.
Good job,
Will you
Kelly.
go back to paperless pipeline just so we can see it?
Maybe it helped me with that.
I think it's just on the. Keep going to the right. Yeah. Nope. Not Zoom, but yeah, that one.
Okay,
There you go.
And it'll show up at the bottom, right?
it's probably in the. I don't know if if it automatically goes in.
Oh, it's
Because it's
unassigned.
going in.
Oh, I
as
love
an
that. You have a
attachment,
rodent feces
So then they probably
screenshot.
have to release it into there.
Don't worry about
So
it.
this is good. Whoever downloaded their documents have pictures in it. Okay, wait. Let's use this as an example. Look at this.
But don't worry about it.
Repairs invoice, rodent feces screenshot. I love this.
Sorry, I didn't know what to label it.
This is so good. You guys, this is what you want. You want those details, even though they sound ridiculous, because then
Let's look at that.
you can download the doc. notice
You want to
that
show them
because
the
it's
commission
not a
disbursement for
PDF.
this one, so they can see.
Oh,
Yeah,
this one's
that's
wild.
Imagine this was a
This one's wild.
Oh my god.
Wait, keep going.
There's
That's
more.
one side. That's one
Scrolling.
side. That's the listing
Good
side.
Lord.
There's
This
the buy
is the buy
side.
side.
That one was wild.
Confusing
That
things
is
get
wild.
correct here.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You just have to, spice things up a little bit. It can't be vanilla all the time.
Okay, so now what do you want me to get at her so she can share her screen again?
Was there anything else, Ashley, you wanted to cover? Because I know Mariah was going to go over some procedures.
Yeah, I think just making sure we're uploading it to the correct unassigned or directly to the file, which is super helpful too. And then the transaction sheet, just making sure we're doing the commissions correctly, and any notes you've got for us is super helpful. And it's helpful for you guys too. We just don't have to do so much back and forth. We can try and complete the file as quickly as possible for you. And I think that was it. So if you guys do end up having questions as you get in there and try to assign things or try to add notes, feel free to shoot me an email. Mine should be in your address book, but it's the info@nwhomes.net. And yeah, anything you guys need help with as Darlene's training and Vanessa's transferring out, let me know too. I'm happy to kind of step in and be an interim for you guys in the meantime.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's nice to meet you guys. I hear about Kelly Lang team all the time, but I haven't gotten to put faces to the names.
We're a
This is
good
awesome.
looking crew right here.
You are a good looking crew. That's right.
We'll just stay on this Zoom, Mariah, if you want to take over from
Okay,
here.
perfect. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you, Mariah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Mariah, can we see Boris?
Is that a cat?
Yes, let me find him. I can show you my other cat too. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we want to see that cat. Show us your whole house.
Walk us around.
Boris is your orange cat.
Oh, the orange cat.
Yeah, she
Aw.
I'm mad because I just woke him up from a nap.
He's
Aw.
like,
Pause.
This is Bandit.
You're so cute out there.
Very naughty, very naughty. We're working on it.
Look how cute he is.
He looks pissed.
And then, yeah, he's mad. And then I don't know where Boris is.
That's okay.
He might be under the bed.
Cute.
Okay.
I have to get my cat a lion cut. So
Here, let me screen share.
like just little fluffy
God,
beard and then
you
shaved down and the
shaved it?
long tail.
Did
She
you
has
do the
so many
dragon
masks. No, I didn't do the dragon. I did the lion cut. She's so cute.
Aw.
She doesn't look like a kitten though. She looks like an old woman. 'Cause her skin's
Kelly, do you want me to do the office protocols first or the, okay, that one?
We'll just do office protocols. We'll see how much time we have.
That one's pretty short too, so we should be good on
We need
that.
a
Okay, let
screen
me-
share?
Yeah.
Did you give her rights? Okay, she's
Oh,
got it.
Got
She's
it.
got it.
You got
Okay,
it.
cool. So I just typed this up. There's probably things that need to be added. So if you can think of something, let us know. But I know that, first of all, thank you for being patient with us in this transition. There's been so much transition in the office and we've been figuring a lot out, a lot of growing pains. So thank you for being patient with us.
You.
We put this together hopefully to kind of like clarify a few things, because I know that, again, we've just kind of been everywhere and kind of just trying to been putting things together. So if you see something that needs to be added, just let me know. Right now, so I have a few different like segments, but the first one, and this is just for the Kelly Lang office, I have another one that's for Remax that's going to lay out like what you do when you don't have a TC, and just basically like Remax stuff. So that one's separate, but this one's just for the Kelly Lang office. So this is for the buyer's agents when you go pending with the in-house TC. Fill out the Google form for Mariah. Y'all know that already. Email the PSA, pre-approval, sign form 17, etc. to Mariah and Kelly L, because Kelly L will need to update the CTE and basically the whiteboard. So if y'all can get in the habit of copying both of us on the PSA and all that fun stuff so that Kelly can be up to date as well. Kind of like what Kelly said, to CC me into any emails that have to do with the transaction. Sometimes I get left out because just people forget, like the other agent on the other side forgets, or escrow forgets, or XYZ. So if there's anything that you see that I'm not on, then just please CC that to me, because then it won't go into Paperless pipeline if I'm not on it or I don't see it. Once the home inspection is over, if you could email me the inspection report, I added a task in my in kind of like my little task plan to remind y'all of this because I didn't have that in before, and so we were missing a lot of home inspections. But as if you're representing the buyer, I do need your home inspection report to upload it into Paperless pipeline. So that's why that's there. And then if you're, I guess both sides, but email any home repair invoices to me too. Basically any invoices, receipts, whatever has to pertain to the transaction, just send it to me.
But also let her know if it has to be paid out of closing or if it's already been paid by her.
Yeah. Normally that's more of like a listing side-ish thing, but I'm sure buyers also pay for stuff, but more of the listing side, if your buyer's agent who's listing, if there's any invoices that need to be paid out of escrow, but even if they don't need to be paid out of escrow, I still like to have them in there. And even if you get like quotes from people that you don't use, I would still like to have those and put those in there just for compliance reasons.
Yeah, be very clear about that because Mariah and I ran into that where I wasn't clear, like this is the one we're using, we're not hiring this other guy. Both quotes went on the settlement statement, we caught it at the end, it was like, holy shit, we're not paying both. And then it was like escrow was calling to get, where do I email this check to? And I was like, whoa, we're not paying him, he didn't do the work. So please be very, very clear as to who you hired if you had 3 people bid the job. So Mariah knows, and Mariah can get that invoice to escrow. So especially if you're attaching them to your 35Rs as exhibits, just be like, hey, this is who the seller is going to use. And, that way everybody's in clear communication as to who gets paid.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm learning a lot too. So if you like catch me doing anything, like I will not take offense if you like send me a text or email because I am also learning. So like any feedback I can get would be really great because
so I have a question. I don't represent buyers anymore. I'm assuming you're texting them out of brevity or texting them on their personal phone when the inspections are due. Are you giving them reminders if they're getting down to the wire, Mariah?
Usually I'll text them the day of and just be like, hey, today is, are we going to be having a satisfied form 35R? And then sometimes the hard part too is that I would like to, if I can, but I also know that it can be really hard for the buyer's agents. If I could send a text to like the buyers reminding them of the home inspection, but sometimes things happen so fast that by the time like I get everything, the home inspection's already happened. So I know that that's not always possible, but if you would like me to send a text to your buyers, I have no problem doing that. But also if it doesn't happen, I know that y'all are on it. I will say all the buyers agents are on it, Kelly. Like they are on it.
Okay, so this is just, we went over this yesterday too with Lori, but biggest thing is you guys, I always have your inspectors on standby, and then that way pending, you just let Mariah know, hey, that's another part. Hey, we already scheduled the home inspection. It's for Tuesday at 2 o'clock. The other thing too is that if you hear from the other agent when the septic is, let Mariah know that too, because it's part of her transaction timeline. So when she emails your buyers, I also really liked yesterday, and I don't know if there's any way we could do this. I liked what Lori said about having an actual calendar. I don't know if that's even doable. It's like closing date, inspection date. I don't know if that's even doable, Mariah, but that's something.
Someone said, I saw in the message, someone said that they use a website called Folio. I took note of it. And basically where like any email that goes out, there's a link to a calendar that they can click on and it will show all the dates.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know how to use it. I've never heard of it, but I did take note that someone put that in there. So I don't know if that would be helpful for maybe some of the sellers or buyers.
I hope all of y'all are ordering your appraisals when you go pending too. That's just office protocol. Just be that agent that's on it. And then if you did that already, let Mariah know so she knows that she doesn't have to ping you guys again, like after the inspection's satisfied, like, hey, did you get your appraisal going? So just kind of.
And I usually, that's in my timeline as well. Whenever I check in to make sure that the buyer has made a full loan application, I usually also ask, has the appraisal been ordered? If so, do you have an order number? Has it been assigned yet? So that if I have the name and number or email of the appraiser, I could put it into my notes. And so that we can bug the crap out of them like me, Jay, and Adam are doing right now.
Bug the crap out of them. I love it. And then the other thing too is if it's a VA file, I would just prefer that you have a blanket VA amendatory clause, Mariah. There's tons of them out there. That it gets signed right away, and then it gets over to the lender, so we're on top of it. I know Debbie Carruthers with the Craig McKinsey team always says that ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's classy. It looks like we know what the hell we're doing. I love it. So VA mandatory clause, I prefer if you have any VA pendings that Mariah's going to send that for electronic signature, like within the first week. So that way it gets signed and boom, it pops back over to the lender and it's done. So it's not going out the last couple days of before closing. Because buyers are always, or sellers are always like, what the hell is this? Why the appraisal's already satisfied? Why are we signing a VA mandatory clause right
Isn't
now?
that in like the other
It usually, but the problem is it doesn't go out till the very end, is what I see a lot of times. But when you're on top of it and you've been doing as many transactions like we do, it should go out right in the beginning and then it should go right back to the lender so they have it.
So what was that you were just talking
It's
about?
a VA mandatory clause. So if you have any VA buyers that are buying, they have to have it. Loan officers and underwriters have to have it for their file.
Okay.
It's basically a get out of jail free card if the appraisal comes in low. That's what
It's
it
also on
is.
the 22A, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but the banks want their own form signed every single time. So I just think it's great if Mariah has it there and she realizes it's a VA because it's a blanket form. It just gets signed and then it goes back to the lender. So
Yeah, I can show you really quick, Jen, what we're talking about because we got this one sent over pretty fast whenever we had to sign it. But it's basically just this. And like Adam said, it's built into the 22A already, but the banks like to have this separately, even though it's already in the financing. But this is basically what it is.
So
And
you're
you
saying
get that
do
from
it
the
ahead of time
Ahead of
instead
time.
of waiting
And then it's
until the
just
end
done.
to then.
I like it.
Okay.
And you just
done.
ask the bank for that?
No,
Or-
Mariah will have it,
Oh, Mariah
and
has it,
Mariah
okay.
will send it out for electronic signatures.
I can have a blank one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
seller still needs to sign that one.
Is there a difference between the mandatory clause
Right
and
here.
the clause or the same?
They're the same. That's basically the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know why there's like 12,000 sellers on here. Like how many sellers?
Crazy.
So weird.
Crazy.
Okay, sorry. All right. All right, back to this. Oh, no, wrong one. Haha. Okay.
I don't understand what that form is.
It is the mandatory thing. Yeah,
The
it's to
state
get out of the loan if the
If the
appraisal comes
appraisal
in
came
low.
in low, the buyer for the VA has a right to get out.
Mhm.
They don't have to buy it. I mean, but if they have, like, I have one right now on Baldo that's a VA buyer, but we also have a 22 AD appraisal addendum that says they're willing to. It just gets popped.
I was gonna. Sorry. I was just gonna ask that. I was gonna ask that. What if you have a 22 AD and that obviously overrides the 22A, but the
Well,
VA mandatory
actually,
clause does that?
Actually,
I don't think it does.
It
to be
overrides.
honest.
No.
It does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it overrides the 22 AD.
Basically, it just
Yeah.
says VA buyers should never have to come out of pocket any cash.
So you
Yeah.
could write a 22 AD and then they decided,
At
we
the
don't want
very
to do
end.
it.
I
We
mean,
could
the
get out
odds
on
are
it.
slim to none that that's going to happen, but yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. It is a
they
good
can't make you use it.
for your
Sorry,
buyer.
that's the first thing I thought of.
No.
Yeah, wait a second. Yeah. I mean, the odds are going to
That's a good question though, Julian. Good point. They can't make you use it if you're a VA buyer. Kelly, can they make you use it even if you're a conventional buyer? I thought they couldn't. I thought you could never make someone use a 22.
These aren't on conventional deals. You won't see them on conventional. It's just VA.
Really?
Only. There may be one on FHA. Who's done an FHA recently? Anybody? Did they serve an escape clause? No, did they serve?
I don't think so.
Escape clause for
No.
appraisal?
I think she's asking if you could use a 22 AD. Can you be forced to use it on something?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
On something. Sorry, what?
Not the escape clause.
Basically, she was asking if you have a 22 AD and you get a low appraisal, you automatically have to come up with extra cash if you're not VA. And I'm pretty sure the answer is yeah.
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 Oh,
There's,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no get out of jail.
Yeah, there's no get out of jail.
That's good to know.
I guess you could use it.
Yeah.
No. Any questions about that part before we go into the next part?
One thing I do want to say is if you guys have any changes with like extensions and things, I also need to know about that. So if you're
That's good.
saying why, I need to know about that so I can change everything in CTE.
Well, because sometimes you guys are talking to the other agent, you're talking to the lender, you know there's some kind of a stall out, you know there's going to be an extension. You need to let Mariah know. You know, you should be texting Mariah like, hey, we're going to need a 22Y. I already spoke to the other agent because she's not privy to those conversations. So whenever I needed them, a lot of times I would just, text into Kitty or text into Mariah and be like, hey, I need a 22Y and do honor before this date. Tell her what you want on there. If it's like, oh no, we're doing the 11th. put the 11th. But if it's like, hey, there's a chance, or we might close ahead of time, and the seller is okay with it because the house is vacant, you know, because sometimes you need to tell her, is there a tenant in there? Is it vacant? Is it occupied? Because then if it's vacant, well, duh, they'll close any time because there's no arrangements that need to be made. But if there's a seller in there and they're super finicky and stuff, well, then you know it's not going to be on or before. It's going to be they're closing this date, and we talked to their other agent, and we're good for it. So
I added that. That's a good point. Thanks, Kelly. Going on to buyer's agents when you are listing, there's really not much to add, but we added some. So just this is kind of coming from Kelly L. So if you can think of anything, Kelly, I can add it. But basically, fill out the Google form for Kelly. Email Kelly L with any information that has to do with getting your listing on the market. What are some examples, Kelly, of like information that has to do with getting your house on the market?
For example, so if you're setting up the photos appointments with Recon, you can add me, so I get an email and I get notified.
You should add her.
Yes,
I like that.
absolutely.
And then you can
because
actually
then I know that typically
in
it's going to be
follow-up
the next day that we go on, on the market. So and then you got to give me, I prefer a couple of days at least to get listing paperwork, because I do give them a call and I talk to them for a good half an hour, and getting things from them as well.
So you
Let
need
me
to
know if you need a
prep them
lockbox.
that Kelly will be calling them. So when you're at your
Yeah.
appointment, you need to say, hey, our listing coordinator, Kelly, will be reaching out to you by this time to go over the details on the documents. The other big thing I like to do too in Follow Up Us, and I'm not religious with it, but you can go into tasks, you guys, and create a task for Kelly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So you assign it to her and you say, send listing paperwork of this date. And then usually in that task, I'll put 300,000 price, 6% commission, going live on this date. So she knows, so you can create a task and you can have it remind her the day before.
And then Adam has been doing, and I like this too, so if everybody can kind of do this as well. If the notes in Follow-Up Boss, like sometimes he'll leave me notes in there, like, hey, we're changing this commission, or this is what's going on, or like, I called you yesterday because they're getting a divorce, and this and that. And I'm like, well, wait a second, are they divorced or are they not divorced? Is there a quit claim deed? Am I putting both people on the name, on the paperwork? What are we doing? So you just need to keep me informed of what's happening.
Like they hate each other and send emails
Yeah.
separately. I have that too, because if I get on the email chain with both of them, I want to go give myself a drink for the rest of the day. I can't take it.
So if you can give me as much information before I make that phone call, so then it sounds like we look good.
I get
like the whole
texts
team
that are
looks
pretty
good.
damn nasty with you guys.
Yeah, because if I don't know something that you've already had,
and then I'm like, I don't want to know that. La 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 la.
Yeah, that's good, Kelly. I added that right here.
Thanks.
So any
Leave notes.
scenarios that they need to know about.
And then let me know, are you taking the lockbox out there, or do I need is Recon picking it up and taking a booty basket? Because they'll do that too. So I just kind of need to know that.
And I just want to clarify that Google form that she's talking about is not the TMO Google form. It's a different one. It's listing details.
So what you should do, you guys, if Jen put it on my phone because I'm not smart enough, but right there is mine. So a lot of times what I do is I leave the listing appointment, I pull over on the side of the road. So I don't look like a stalker sitting in the driveway, but I pull over and then I just start filling it out, because that's when it's fresh in my brain as to like what's going to happen. And then I go in and then it emails right back.
And it helps me a lot.
Then she knows what the hell's
I
going
just
on.
do that while I'm at the appointment.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Yeah.
Smart, Adam.
Yeah, and then things like it. Do they need to rent back? It's stuff that you want
Anything
to
that
put in
needs
the
to go in
agent
the
broker's
agent remarks.
Yeah.
Perfect. I've been adding that as you're talking. So email Kelly with any information that has to do with getting your listing on the market, or both. Leave notes and Follow Up Boss for Kelly to update her listing.
A-type, like this one I have right now. Please give the admin a heads up, you guys. It's just nice courtesy. Like I'm like, you will be on the phone with him for hours. You will be going over all the details, because then they know like we have a super A-type. I mean, and I get probably 3 or 4 of those a year where it's like, oh, for the love of Jesus, But
it's not that we can't handle it. It's just good to know.
it's good to know ahead of time. Yeah. Or if they're crazy, like I get crazy and I'm like, heads up, something's fucking wrong. Like,
That doesn't happen.
Yeah. And actually, on that note, in the same thing, when you're filling out my TMO, any information about your buyers would be great as well.
Say it again, Mariah.
No, you're fine. I was just saying along the same lines, like when you're filling out my TMO, I think there's a note in there that Jen added, like any extra information about your buyers would be awesome. So if you're like, they're out of the country, he's on deployment, so that I know ahead of time, okay, mobile notary and things like that, so that I could communicate that. But then also just so I know if I send them an email and they're not responding to me, it's probably because they're in a different time zone. Just like things like that. Yep. Which, I mean, most of y'all already do, so y'all are really good at it. Like I said, the buyer's agents are really on it. So I just think a lot of this is just like a recap.
It's me.
Let's see what else.
Poorly, so I need that.
Anything that has to do with marketing, flyers, open houses, etc., goes to Jen and Elaine, not Kelly. So if you have any questions for marketing, open houses, flyers, all of that can go to Jen and Elaine and not Kelly. So Kelly's like main focus is just basically all the listing stuff and getting your listing on the market. And then once it's on the market, it's kind of like Elaine and Jen who are out there marketing and helping you do open houses and things like that. Perma flyers, things like that are going to do with Jen and Elaine.
With the exception of the actual listing sign.
Yes.
So you need to let me know if there's any riders, if it's waterfront or if it's land or, something that you want me to get.
Or if you want two signs, like sometimes you guys of like on the corner at the entrance,
long
whatever.
Driveway.
Right.
Yeah, until we get
driveway,
called out by another cranky agent that says Kelly can't do that, and then we'll take it down.
Yeah. And I kind of look at that too, because I'll Google it and look at where it's located if it looks like
or
it's complicated.
Or if it needs something like a 4x4. So that needs, like, my Highway 20 is going to get a 4x4. Like my commercial building got a 4x4. So just those kind of things that need to be addressed.
I put that on there too, listing sign. That's basically it for that. And then we're just gonna talk about open houses. So if possible, please send Elaine your weekend availability. Wow, as soon as you know it, preferably by Monday or Tuesday. I know that's kind of hard because weekends y'all are all over the place and sometimes things just like pop up. But if you just know you're gonna be in town and that you are open to doing open houses, just please let Elaine know so that she can schedule them with the sellers, because happy sellers is happy admin.
The other thing too, you guys, if you're on the listing side, you need to let us know if you have communicated that you're selling open houses to them. And some of them will be like this one, oh hell no, he doesn't want anybody in his house anyways. But so it's the same thing goes, because otherwise they don't know the parameters. When there's tenants, I'm like, no, there's no open houses. When it's vacant, I'm like, have at it. It can be whenever you want. And then when it's, sometimes you get, mom with little kids and they're like, no, we're not doing open houses. So you just need to communicate like, yeah, free game Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, have at it. They're leaving town. Or because I usually like to do that too. It's like, hey, we're going to go live Thursday, get the heck out of town. Let us have it at your house. We'll market the heck out of it and we'll review when you come back. But you need to let Elaine know that, hey, they're free game, or no, don't do open houses on them. So
yeah, super helpful. I'll add that. Remember to go live on Facebook at your open house. As Kelly says, this is not an option. This is a requirement. So if you don't know how to do them, there's plenty of people on the team who are really good at them, and I'm sure who wouldn't mind teaching you. A trick that I used to do, and I think I told Julian whenever he first started, because he was like, how do you remember everything about the house? And I was like, I literally would write it down on a piece of paper, and then I would hold it behind my phone, and then I would do the Facebook Live like that. So I would be like this.
That's smart, yeah.
Because I would always forget the address, as stupid as that sounds. So I would hold it like that. So I don't know, maybe it's a trick, or maybe you're just like good like Adam and Jay and you just remember everything. But that was a trick that I use, and it really helped me.
Just take it down to the main features. That's what I do. Just show like the view, the kitchen, and the master bath, and then don't worry about the rest of it.
They're not going to hang around long enough to watch you walk through all the bedrooms.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 minutes.
Well, you kind of want it to be get them in the house.
Yeah, exactly. I showed them every total price. So it's only address.
The outbuilding.
Bed, bath, square foot.
Oh, and the other thing too for marketing, and I don't know that we've been doing this good, but we need to, Elaine, this needs to get added to your list, or Jen, is that they need to be added onto Facebook as to when the Facebook Lives are, because we get a lot of people that will tune in from other parts of the US or Seattle and watch those. So you need to say, like, do you guys prefer to do it right in the beginning?
Yeah.
I like the beginning.
Or
I
should
get
we
there.
just make it that we actually get there 10 minutes early and do it before
Yeah.
That's what I've been
Because
doing.
sometimes
That'd
there's
be
a
the
line,
easiest.
you guys.
But
Sometimes
yeah, I was
there's
gonna say,
people.
Yeah.
I mean, I get calls like, hey, I'm like, they're probably running late because they'll call me if they're sitting outside. So my thoughts are is if you could do it before and you show up 10 minutes early, that would probably be ideal because then Elaine can put it like if it's a 2 o'clock, then she could do Facebook Live 1:45. Okay, even if it's a little bit late, but you guys, there will be people pinging me on my Facebook Messenger saying like, I'm ready to watch the live. I mean, I've had that. I'm not joking. So we need to make sure that's part of the marketing steps is that it's advertised on Facebook as an event.
Okay.
Because that's part of it, and then it'll hold you guys accountable, and people will watch it, you guys. And then you can say, hey, I'm going to be here till 3:30 today. You know, if you're driving up, let me know. Ping me a text, and we'll wait for you. You know, whatever it is. So.
No, that's 100% true. One of my first clients with Kelly, almost $1 million home, he scrutinized the Facebook Live. Like he went back to go watch it, and like he looked at every single second. And not a lot of people do that, but some people do.
I had people do it at our $2.8 million one. Watch that one. They, people want to watch, so
they do.
Pretty cool. And then they could, so definitely make sure we're doing events.
And kind of the last thing on here. Can you hear me?
Just video it and then upload it after you're done.
And I know it's hard because sometimes you like show up to an open house 10 minutes early and there's like a line of people waiting to get in. And then sometimes you'll like try to do the Facebook Live after the open house, but then there's people who are just hanging out. So we understand that like sometimes it's hard, but just try.
If it's that busy, I would just do it. Just say, hey guys, I'm gonna do a quick video. If you want to be in it, like hang around.
That's actually a good idea, Adam.
Yeah. I love it, Dean.
That's what we said 5 minutes ago.
Okay, the last thing that I have on here, and I think Jen might have implemented this thing where you get texted, but email any open house feedback to Elaine as soon as the open house is done. I know that y'all have so many other things to do and you're probably running to a showing or a bunch of stuff like that. But if you could just try and make it a habit to email her the feedback right after it's done, she won't get to it till Monday anyways. But the nice part is that sellers are going to be pinging us for open house feedback because they just want to know. So the sooner that you can get that to Elaine, just the better, so that we can get it to the sellers.
Right. I also added in the so it is a Brivity auto plan, and it was actually Kelly's idea to add the seller's contact info. So if you want to give feedback directly to the seller on the weekend, sweet.
Yeah, that would be amazing because sellers always want to know. Yeah, that's awesome. That's basically all I have for the Kelly Lang office. I have a whole nother spiel for newer agents, but I know that y'all probably need to get going. I don't know if Kelly, I don't think Kelly wants me to go over that right now because he'd probably be here for longer, but I can if she wants. But I will be, I think, uploading these to the university, right? And I think the Facebook page so that you could go back and look at them anytime you need to. And then I have one specifically for agents when they don't have a TC, and it outlines everything and basically tells you like what to add to Paperless Pipeline. And we can go over this. Maybe I could do a separate one for new agents, Kelly, with this one, because this one's more in depth and it's what you do without a TC. And I try to like give you tips, and then I also try to outline like office admin jobs and like what they do. Kelly's is listing coordinator, office mama, and all around badass. And Jen's is marketing assistant, accounting guru, and happy girl. Elaine's is client care assistant and the jack of all trades. She does it all because she really I'm just the Brivity gal.
With great hair.
Thank you. But Kelly, this one is a little bit longer, so and it might be just more specific to newer agents. So I could do this a separate time if you'd like. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good to do just a video on this so we can use it for training too. So yeah, we can do it another time since we're definitely running over. But
yeah, this one's a little bit longer. But that's all I have for y'all. I don't think I have anything else.
Good job. That was awesome.
Y'all are the best. Y'all are so awesome. I love working with y'all.
Saved and uploaded to training. That'd be great. And I'd label it Paperless Pipeline and pending transactions. Okay. Sweet. Thanks, lady. We appreciate you.
Yes, of course. I love working with y'all. Y'all are so fun.
We love you too.
Where's Will? Is Will home?
Where's Will?
No, he's actually flying. This is the first time he's flown since he's had COVID. Because when you have COVID, you have to like do like an EKG stress test and like all this like stuff to get back to flying. Yeah. And we had COVID like 2-3 weeks ago. So this is the first time he's flying since then. It's crazy. Yeah. But I need to get to work.
All right. Bye.